Welcome to Basic, Easy, and Simple English. My name is Jibung Oh, and today we are going to study Present Perfect. Present Perfect. In order to understand Present Perfect, we need to understand past and present tenses. Here, I have a past section, and here, present section with the words now or nowadays, and then the future section. I was a student. Was a student. This is past. I studied at a college. I studied at a college. Another past. But present is I am an employee. I am an employee. I am not a student anymore. In my past, I was a student, but my present, I am an employee. In my past, I studied at a college, but in my present, I work at a company. Now I am an employee. Now I work at a company. My future, I will be a retiree and I will retire in 10 years. Okay. As you see, the past, present, and the future, there is no connection. Even though this is my past, even though this is my present, and even though this is my future, my past, my present, my future, there's no connection. Anyway, since we are studying present perfect in terms of past and present, let us forget about future. Here I have a past section and I have a now section, present section. But there's something I need to write, so I'm going to move the past up there and now down here. Let me introduce you the first sentence. First thing I did in the past. I lived in Japan for 5 years. Yes, this is something I did in my past, which has nothing to do with my present. I lived in Japan for 5 years in the past. I taught English in China in 2010. Yeah, this is something I did in the past. It has nothing to do with my present. I watched Titanic many times. I did something, and yet it has nothing to do with my present. I dated a Korean woman 10 years ago. Yeah, this is something I did in the past, which has nothing to do with my current situation or present. I bought a lottery and didn't win any money. Yeah, I just wasted my money, and yet it has nothing to do with my present. All the past stops here. I ran over a squirrel once. Yes, it was a terrible experience, but it has nothing to do with my present. All the past stops here. This is my present, and this is the past. Even though this is my past, there is no connection between my past and my present, which is now. But the thing is, this is my past, and this is my present. So there must be a connection. So in order to show the connection, I make sentences like this. But there's a way to make a connection between my past and now. So I change the sentence like this. I have lived in Japan. Okay, I'm not living in Japan anymore, but I have an experience. So in my present, I'm not living in Japan, but when I tell people that I have an experience that I lived in Japan, I say I have lived in Japan like this. and I have taught English in China. My present, I'm not teaching English in China, but in my past, I have an experience. So you say, I have taught English in China. I have watched Titanic. It shows an experience. Because of this experience, my past and my present have connection. I have dated a Korean woman. Yes, I have an experience. I have an experience of a Korean woman. I have bought a lottery. Nowadays, I don't do it anymore, but I have an experience. I have run over a squirrel. Yes, I'm not running over any squirrels anymore, but at least once I have an experience. If you use this type of sentences, you can find the connection between your past and your present. We call this present perfect. So we have connection to now in terms of experience. Okay, this is present perfect. Present perfect is have or has plus past participle. We use have or has because this is present. When the subject is I, you, we, they, we use have. When the subject is he, she, it, we use has. Okay, what is past participle then? Past participle is the last one when we conjugate a verb. Do, present, did, past, done. This is past participle. Go, went, gone. Have, has, had. Be, which are am, are, is, be, was is past, or were, the plural, been. Be, was, been, eat, ate, eaten. Write, wrote, written. Send, sent, sent. Even though they look alike, this is past participle. Love, loved, loved. This is regular, and these are irregular. Work, worked, worked. If this is a regular verb, we just use ed, loved, ed, worked. Okay, I will show you how to form a present perfect sentences. Okay, this is past. Look, I lived in Japan for 5 years. So it stops at the end of the past. Now, I have lived in Japan. Because of this form, it has connection with my present. Now, I, subject I, and I said we use have, right? And then past participle of live is live, lived, lived in Japan. Okay, this shows that once experience, once I lived in Japan. So you can tell people, I have lived in Japan. It means that you have an experience. Yes, you are not living in Japan now, but once you lived in Japan, you have an experience. I taught English in China in 2010. This is a simple past, no connection. But you can say, I have taught English in China. Taught, present is teach, and taught. This is past and past participle, taught. Teach, taught, taught. So I taught English. This is simple past. I have taught. This taught. I have taught English in China. This becomes your experience in my present. I watched. Okay, this is a regular verb. So you say, I have watched Titanic. Experience. So it has connection with my present. I dated. This is regular verb, but this shows just my past, simple past. But you can say, I have dated. So this shows an experience. Now take a look at this picture. This is not experience, but this is continuation. So you can have connection with your past and your present in terms of continuation. Your simple past is, I bought a BMW in 2015. Okay, this is 2020. It was 5 years ago. What happened? Do you still drive it? Or did you sell it? Or did you give it away to somebody? And in order to make the connection, there's a condition that I still own the car or I still drive the car. This is a present progressive. I am still driving the car. If you don't have these conditions, there cannot be any connection. So in order to make the connection between your past and your present, your sentence has to be like this. I have past participle. I have owned the car since 2015. 2015, okay. I have owned the car for 5 years. Look, this is 2020. It's going to be 5 years. If you watch this video in 2021, it is going to be 6 years. Anyway, I have owned the car since 2015 and it has connection. This in terms of continuation. I have owned the car for 5 years. Now you're driving it, right? I have driven, drive, drove, driven, drive, drove, driven. So I have driven the car since 2015. You're still driving it. I have driven the car for 5 years. Okay, again, this is 2020, so 5 years. This is the connection between my past and present. I have been driving the car since 2015. If you want to say, I'm still driving the car, yes, you will have to use present perfect progressive. I've been driving the car since 2015, or I've been driving the car for 5 years. So this is present perfect progressive. There is another example. Okay, there's another example. Look at the picture. I am standing in front of a house. I can say it is mine. Why? Because I bought the house in 2010. Now, this is something I did in my past. And in current situation, I don't know what happened to the house. Do you still live in the house? Do you still own the house? Are you still living in the house? If you still own the house, if you still live in the house, if you're still living in the house, you can make a connection by saying, I have owned the house since 2010, or I have owned the house for 10 years. Again, this is 2020, so that's 10 years. If you're watching this video in 2021, it's going to be 11 years. I have lived in the house since 2010. This is 2010. You started living in the house. I have lived in the house for 10 years. From 2010 until now, you have lived in the house for 10 years. If you want to say, I am living in the house, say, I have been living in the house since 2010, or I have been living in the house for 10 years. So if you still own the house, if you still live in the house, if you're still living in the house, you can use present perfect in order to put the connection between your past and present. Let us think about one more example. Yes, This is America. I came to America in 2010. Now where am I? Am I still in America or did I go back to my country? The condition, I still live in America or I'm still living in America. If this is the condition, you can say, I have lived in America since 2010 or I have lived in America for 10 years. I have been living in America since 2010 or I have been living in America for 10 years. Yes, this is the condition. If your present is this condition, you can have connection between your past and your present. The sentence is this. Now, I don't know whether you started studying English in 2010, but okay, just like this, I have studied English since 2010. If you still study English, you can say this, right? Or if you are still studying English, you can say, I've been studying English since 2010, or I have been studying English for 10 years. So this is the way you make a connection between your past and your present. If you use the simple past, there is no connection. You cannot say, I came to America since 2010. Or you cannot say, I live in America since 2010. You have to say, I have lived in America since 2010. Use present perfect. Have plus past participle. Okay? You just finished present perfect lesson. But you have not totally finished the lesson yet. Because this lesson is just to help you understand the notion of present perfect. It means that there are still more things to learn about present perfect. Present perfect is the most difficult and most important thing to learn in English. You have come this far. So first of all, I salute you. I congratulate you on achieving or on the great job you have done. Second, I ask you not to give up because you are very close to understanding English in most ways. If you understand present perfect, I can say you understand more than half of English. As soon as I have found something more for you, I'll be back with you. Until then, keep studying English and be safe. And today, have a great day. Thank you and bye.